Hello there and welcome to Lower 6th Further Maths A-Level Pure Core Past Paper of June 2015. Here we have a new question to the syllabus, so I've added this question in myself. So, question 8a is to find the Cartesian equation of the locus of points that satisfies z minus 4 modulus equals 8 minus z. So, just drawing a diagram to start this question off, it's going to be the center, it's going to be the perpendicular bisector of the coordinate at 4 and at 8i. So it's going to be this line here. Now I know that that line there is going to have a gradient that is perpendicular to the gradient that connects the 2 points there. So the gradient of, let's call this line AB, is minus 8 over 4, which is minus 2. So the gradient of the, let's call it L, is going to be at a half. So then we need to do y equals a half x plus c. But at the moment I haven't got a coordinate to plug in, but I do know that this centre coordinate here is going to go through that line there. So I know that the midpoint of this line is going to go through it. So that would be the coordinate 2, 4. So I know I can plug in the value 2, 4 and get the correct value for c. So 4 equals a half of 2 plus c. So that would be 4 equals 1 plus c, so c equals 3. So the line is equal to a half x plus 3. Find the values of z that satisfy the equation of that, and the arg of z equals pi by 4. Right, okay, so I think I'll squeeze this into this side of the page. The line for arg of z equals pi by 4, I'll draw it in blue so you can see the pi by 4 will give you an angle of 45 degrees, so that's going to be roughly this line here, and that's going to have a 1 as a gradient. If it's 45 degrees, it goes up the same amount as it does across, so the line for the blue line is going to be y equals x. So what we have to do here is just now equate the two equations. So x equals a half x plus 3, so that means a half x will equal 6, so 3, so x equals 6, that's where I was getting to there. So the real coordinate is going to be 6, the y coordinate from this equation here will also be 6. So find the value of z that satisfies these two. Well, z will equal 6 plus 6i. Okay, shade on an argand diagram the set of points for which this condition is true and this condition is true as well. These extra bits here just mean that z is a complex number and are not really important to the question. So let's get back that diagram and we'll draw something a bit better out. So the coordinate needs to intersect 4 and 8, and it's going to roughly be this sort of line. But so the distance to the coordinate 4 has to be less than the distance to 8. So it's going to be this side of the graph. I'll remember that later. And then the arg of z is in between pi by 4 and pi. Well, that, I'll draw it in blue so you can see the difference, is going to be in between here and here, because pi is over 180 degrees. So what I need for that angle, for the angle of the arg, for the z complex number, for the arg of it, is in between here and here. So it's in this space here. So the area that satisfies both of these coordinates is this area here that I have shaded in. I'll just draw an arrow to it so the examiner can see what I mean. Great, okay, 9 marks for that question.